Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to go into a little more depth on some of the things that I touched on in my intro video. I'm going to go a little more into depth um, of the night that I found out that I had something wrong with me. So on that previous video, I told you guys that it started with chest pain, and ambulance was called. I took some aspirin because I thought I was having a heart attack. Ultimately, that led to me being in the emergency room, and we're going to pick up there. So I get to the emergency room, and they take me in. Obviously they don't know what's wrong with me, but they take me in, hook me up to things. They start drawing blood. They draw your blood every 3 hours to check a certain level in your blood to see if you actually are having a heart attack or not. So they kept coming in. Doctor kept coming in and saying we're gonna keep drawing the blood. And I kept saying I got a feeling in my chest, kind of right in the center here is where I felt it. Um, so after the 3 hours are up and the three blood draws have been done, and there's no sign of heart attack, she says that she's going to send me for a CT scan. Um, so I go and have a CT scan. This is all in the emergency room still. Excuse me. I go and have a CT scan and come back to the room, and I don't know, an hour later or so, she comes back and she says, "Yeah, this is kind of what I was afraid of. Um, you have a 7 centimeter um, aneurysm on your aortic artery, and it appears to me that it's leaking." Um, so typically, your aortic artery is supposed to be about 3 centimeters ish, and mine was 7. So pretty, more than double in size. And now she thinks that it's leaking as well. As soon as she said that, my heart sank, and the entire vibe, if you will, of my hospital, of my emergency room visit changed, because as soon as she said that, um, 15 seconds later, there were 3 or 4 nurses coming in my room saying, "Hey, we're gonna change your room." And this is in the emergency room. I don't know what it's like where you are, but in the emergency room here, it's kind of just a big room with partitioned off rooms that are created with a curtain. There's just several of them there. So they say, "Hey, we're going to move your room," and they take me to another room, um, because they're not equipped at this emergency room to handle what's wrong with me. So they're going to take me to another room while they contact my insurance company to figure out what my insurance company wants to do with me, because they're not equipped to handle this situation at their hospital. So they take me into this other room. Excuse me. And it's obviously a like a crash room. Um, it's a very large room, and on one side of the room is a hospital bed, and on the other side is a like an emergency surgical table with the big lights hanging overhead and all of those kinds of things. And I just went, man, this just took a really crazy turn. Um, and now all of a sudden, I've got a one-on-one nurse who is sitting in the room with me the entire time and does not leave. Um, so ultimately, a couple of hours later, they're finally able to reach my insurance company, to find out what they want to do with me. Um, and my insurance company says, please take him to, or please send him to this other particular hospital that's about an hour away from where I live, we will send an ambulance over to come and get him. And please send him over to this particular hospital because that's where they're equipped for this type of situation right now. So about it, I guess probably another hour and a half later, the ambulance finally shows up to transport me to this other hospital. And it's not just a regular ambulance; it's like a medical transport ambulance, and it's not just a regular ambulance crew. I have a driver, and I have an RN there to pick me up to take me over to this other hospital. So they load me up. They take me over to this other hospital, and I do have to say that the staff at the first emergency room that I was at, they were really, really great people and super kind, and they were excellent. So they take me to this other hospital that is not in my insurance network, but apparently they're the ones, I guess at that time of morning, they're the ones who are equipped to be able to handle an emergency situation like this. Because again, if that aortic artery ruptures, I'm a goner. So they take me to this other hospital, and they confirm everything that the first hospital says, except for that this second hospital does not believe that my aneurysm is leaking. They do not see any signs of leakage at this second hospital. So a little bit of fear was relieved at that point, because this particular hospital has a very, very good reputation for these types of things. So I did find comfort in that. But I spent the whole nother day there. The doctor came in, and the cardiothoracic surgeon, that's what I had to have, was a cardiothoracic surgeon. So the cardiothoracic surgeon, after doing more tests, says, yes, you need this surgery, and yes, you need it now. So they call my insurance company and say, this patient needs this surgery. And the insurance company says, we're not authorizing that at this time. And the doctor says, okay, and I'm sorry, I misspoke. The doctor didn't say that I needed the surgery now. He said that I needed the surgery, and it was an urgent situation, but it wasn't an emergent situation. So they look everything over. He says, yes, you need the surgery. It's not a super emergency, but it is very urgent that you get this done. He says, but I would prefer if we send you home and we schedule the surgery. That way we're not doing it in an emergency situation. We have time to plan it out and actually do it right, and do it, and have some time to work through it. So that's what happens. They send me home. And so from the time they sent me home, we started contacting my insurance company, my wife and I, and they're just dragging their feet over and over and over, dragging their feet. So the doctor at the second hospital that I went to said, if you have any more complications, you should just go directly to the emergency room. So a few days later, actually not a few days later, about 2 weeks later, because nothing has still happened with the scheduling of this surgery, because my insurance company won't give authorization to the hospital, but they won't schedule me at their own hospital. So about 2 weeks later, I start to feel some weirdness in my chest. So I say, okay, it's time to go back to the emergency room. So back at the emergency room, and the cardiothoracic surgeon ended up with the same cardiothoracic surgeon. He says, you need to get this done. And my insurance still says, no, we don't authorize that. Send him to us. Finally, they say, send him to us, to our location that can handle that. And we'll figure out what we're going to do with him, because their idea was to just monitor and make sure that it wasn't getting bigger. And the surgeon at the hospital says, the surgeon at the hospital, it's not my hospital, not my insurance hospital, says, well, he says, the good thing is this is going to help you either way, because they're either going to pay me to fix you or they're going to have to fix you now. And that's what happened. I got to the hospital that was my insurance hospital, and the cardiothoracic surgeon there came in and said, okay, no more trips to the emergency room. We're going to take care of this by the end of next week. I think this is on Thursday or Friday. So, oh no, he says middle of next week. So it's Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which day. And he says, we're going to take care of this by middle of next week. So I say, okay, because at this point, at least there's something happening. So that's great. So the weekend comes. I think Saturday comes around, and the anesthesiologist comes into my room and says, so we have you scheduled for Monday morning. So this is kind of just my, pre-op, consultation with you or whatever. And so this is the first time hearing about it, that I'm having surgery Monday morning. At this point, my wife's there, my 2 kids are there, my mom and dad are there, and my sister's there, all in the room with me when the anesthesiologist comes and gives me the news that it's Monday morning. So my wife says, I have no one to watch the kids on Sunday, so I won't be able to be here with you. And we're both just crushed because we have no one to watch the little kids. At that time, after the fact, we have an amazing friend who stepped up and watched our kids a lot, so my wife could be there with me. But at that point, we had nobody that could watch the kids. So, so that was kind of tough. So, Saturday, my wife left in the afternoon, and then Sunday, all day Sunday, I was all alone. I started the day with watching my church online, and just kind of thinking and building the anxiety in my head and all those things that happen. And I spent the whole day Sunday doing that, just knowing that the inevitable was coming. And so that was a really interesting day. And that kind of takes us back to Sunday evening, where the embarrassing things happened. The special shower that you have to take with the special soap before you have surgery, and having to get undressed in front of strangers. And I know they're nurses, but having to get undressed in front of nurses and letting them take clippers to your entire body, and shave you down everywhere. That was a pretty emotional thing for me to go through. I'm a very insecure about my body person, and that was really hard. So, but you guys already heard that part of the story. So those are kind of the things that I wanted to elaborate on in this video, was just that first part of it. So I have some more elaboration to do about some other parts of the video, of the intro video, in another video that I'll get to. But for now, I think that's going to cover everything that I wanted to talk about today. So anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have gone through this, or just getting ready to go through this, or if you're caring for someone who is going through this, or already has gone, or is going. Let me know that in the comments too. And if you guys have any questions about anything specific, I'm an open book, man. I'm willing to answer any questions that you guys have that I have the answer to, about my own experience. I'm not a doctor, nor do I claim to be one. But if you would like, to me to answer questions about my own personal experience, I'm happy to do that as well. So anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, we'll see you later.